Hello everyone, my name is Ruben Breslet, and welcome to the main phase.
I'm a sailor pig, and I lost my leg! Climbing up the top sails, I lost my leg!
Wow, that is a professional looking intro. This is my first video since Londis.com decided to stop publishing writer content, and while I had a great time working for them, in other words making money writing about magic, the fact that I'm no longer an official writer for a magic website means that I have less rules to follow. Anarchy! For example, during my time at Londis, I wasn't allowed to use racist, homophobic, or misogynistic language during my videos. While this is usually a very good rule, it did limit the creative content on one of my wildly popular segments, How to Pick Up Women at Your Local PTQ. What do you say you and your friend come back to my place for some multiplayer action? Want to see my deck? It's extended. Ha! I'd like to tap her tainted wood. Wait, that one doesn't work. There are some other changes, but most importantly, at least to me, is that now I get to call tokens dudes. Cycle Decree of Justice, get like 8 dudes. Empty the Warrens, 16 dudes. Sack all my Narcomoebas, get like 90 dudes. Couldn't do that before. Not politically correct. But now that the man isn't holding me down, I get to call them dudes. Take that, female magic players. All 6 of you. Yeah, I'm gonna hear about that one in the forums. But really, you don't care about any of that. Let's get on to the magical cards. This past weekend was the Lorwyn pre-release, and I thought I'd give my opinion on a couple of things. The chase rare of the weekend was obviously Thoughtseize, demanding upwards of $20 a piece. As a duress that can also snag a Tarmogoyf, it's easy to see why. By the way, you know a card is defining the format when every other card is judged by its interaction with it. Sure, Doran's a 5/5 for 3 mana, but it makes Tarmogoyf bigger! Wow, this video has a lot of jargon. I think that in Legacy, Duress is still going to see more play than the Seas, because creatures just aren't as important, but there's nothing that says you can't play 4 of each. Yet. Dear Aaron Forsyth. Who writes letters anymore? Anyway, one more thing about Thoughtseize before we move on. Apparently, Wizards has decided that printing a $20 rare in every set is a good thing. The cost of cards like the Ravnica Block Shocklands, Tarmogoyf, and Damnation make the rift between the tournament players and the casual players even bigger by making the cost prohibitive to the less serious players. This gives credence to the age-old Magic argument, if you don't have enough money, you can't play competitive Magic. While there is some bit of truth to this argument, yay Solar Flare, $100 mana base for the win! It doesn't necessarily have to be this way. I don't think that putting a utility spell like Thoughtseize in an uncommon slot like Cobble Therapy or Rise Fall would have been that out of line. It would have been this set's Remand or Lightning Helix and gone for $4 to $5. Is that so wrong? Personally, I don't think that discard spells should ever be in the rare slot unless they're creatures. I miss you, hippie. I hope you're playable again soon. Another card expected to be more popular than Brian David Marshall at a spandex convention, try and get that image out of your head, was Gadok Teague, and while he was popular, he wasn't to the extent that I expected. I think the reason is that while he is one of the best creatures in terms of abilities ever printed, most players realize that he's simply unplayable because he's got both a white and a green in his casting cost. Pretty sneaky, Rosewater. One of the things I was most excited to see was what Limited Lorwyn looked like. God. Particularly sealed. Really, why is that? Well, that's because Lorwyn is pushing the creature type theme, and if you need to, you can force 1 or maybe 2 races into your draft deck, but it's much harder to pull it off in sealed, where your card pool is finite, and you only have a certain number of any given tribe to begin with. This poses an interesting problem, because some of the cards that are good in draft lose most of, if not all of their value because of the lack of this synergy. Some cards, like Blind Spot Giant or Gold Meadow Stalwart, go from being solid mid-round picks in draft to complete jank in sealed. The champion cycle also gets worse in this changeover. I opened a Crush Underfoot in one of my sealed packs. Not what I was looking for. One more thing about the Lorwyn pre-release. What's up with the names on some of these cards? Crib Swap, Ruined Stalactite. Hurly-burly? Are you kidding me? I mean, I can deal with, like, cloud thresher and spring-leaf drum, but at some point I just imagine the guys in the design room going, "Are all the words up on the board? Alright, let's do this." Well, that's all I really care to say about that for this week, so until next time, remember, 10-cent commons beat $10 rares every single time. You know, you're prettier than a top deck demon fire. I want to take a dip in your mana pool. Want to see my grow-a-tog? You know what they say. Once you go black, you start splashing for white. For like Vindicate and whatnot. I'm telling you, this thing can go infinite. Ladies.